Today we will discuss about the Bechistu-Tokaron problem. So I have followed the Goldstein book for the references. So the Bechistu-Tokaron word is coming from Greek, and it has the meaning of Bechistu-Tokaron has the meaning of the shortest, and the kron is has the meaning of time, right? So let us dis- let us let us first tell you about a very interesting story behind this problem. In 1900, in 1697, Isaac Newton received a letter from Jean Bernoulli, in which he had challenged to Newton to solve this Bechistu-Tokaron problem within 6 months. Newton opened the letter in the evening, solved the problem, and went to sleep. So let us first discuss what is this Bechistu-Tokaron problem. So Bechistu-Tokaron problem, here we take actually 2 points A and B. We have to find a path between these two point A and B which takes minimum value, right? Which takes minimum value by a particle falling under gravity, right? So so let us first choose our origin, which I have taken here 0 0, right? So there are many possibilities to go from A to B. So we can go first here A to vertically downward and then horizontally, and we a part system goes from here to here. Our system goes like choose this path or this path. There are many possibilities, but we have to find a curve or path which takes minimum value under gravity from A to B, right? So in figure we assume the height of A from the origin is h, and the B is at distance L from the origin. So the coordinate of B is L0 and the coordinate of A is 0h, and the gravity is working in downward direction, right? So we have to write the total time taken by the particle from A to B. So that expression for T is equal to A to B dt, right? So this is the elementary time. We integrate this time from A to B, and with respect to this y is equal to fx, right? So we have to find this y is equal to fx, this expression, right? We have to find the expression for y, which is the function of x, because this is a two-dimensional problem, right? So we can write this dt is equal to elementary distance ds, right, upon velocity. So we can take this elementary length, which is ds, and velocity at this point, right? We can consider this the general point xy, this elementary point, and this length is ds, right? So we can write ds upon v dxy, and we can write this ds from the Pythagoras theorem. So ds is the elementary length, so we can write it like this, right? So this is dy square and this is dx square. So ds is equal to dx square plus dy square. We can take this dx outside of this square root, so it becomes like this. We can write this y prime is equal to dy by dx. So our ds elementary length ds is equal to this. So next we have to find the value of v of xy. So we use this conservation of energy, right? So at this point, when particles release freely from at O, it has only potential energy, right? When it falls here, when it comes here, suppose it has both the kinetic and potential energy. So we can write its so the total potential energy at point A becomes the total potential energy at the point xy and its kinetic energy at that point, which is equal to half mv square. So we can find the value of this v, right, which is equal to under root 2g h minus y. So now we will put this both the values of v and ds in our equation, in this equation, right. So when we put these two expression, we will find the function f, right, which is equal to this expression, right. So we have to solve the Euler-Lagrange equation for this function. So Euler-Lagrange equation is equal to like this, where x is our generalized, where x is our variable, right, and y is generalized coordinate and y prime is generalized, you can say, derivative, right. So f is given, so we have to first find del f by del y. So when we partially differentiate this function, we will get this, and when we find the partial derivative of f with respect to y prime, so we will get this, right. So put this the value of these two derivatives in the Euler-Lagrange equation, we will get this, right. So this 2g will be cancels out in the above expression, and so finally we get this expression, right. Our aim now is to simplify this expression. So this is the derivative of two function, right, which is the derivative of this two function in quotient form. So you can first find the derivative. So you have to find the total derivative. So this is our denominator, and we can find the derivative of this second function, this, then leave it is at is this second function, and find the derivative of this denominator, and in the below square this denominator function. So now next step we will find the derivative of this function. So it is very simple. Again, this is the product of two functions, so leave first function as it is and find the derivative of second function, which is like this, and then add, then plus this, leave this second function and find the derivative of second function, which is very simple, and you can write it like this, where y double prime is the second derivative of y with respect to x, right, and our denominator is leave it as it is. Now we collect this y square, y double prime term, second derivative of y with respect to x. So here we can, this term is common here, so we can take it is outside, and so rest term is this, and here you can get this y prime, and here is also you get y prime, so it is y prime square, and the denominator term under root 1 plus y prime square, and this term becomes plus, right, because there is a minus term, this minus and this minus becomes plus. So and right, so you can get this expression, right, and we have separate this denominator for this double derivative of y and also for this last term, so we separate it. Now you can simplify again this bracket, so this is 1 plus y prime square and y prime square, so that cancels out, and you are left with only root over 1 plus y prime square, and here is also a 1 plus y prime square, so you will get the 1 plus y prime square power 3 by 2, right, and here this square root term is cancelled out by this term, and we will get root over h minus y, and the rest term is here. So it is already simplified, so leave it as it is. Now we will simplify this derivative term, so we can put it into the Euler-Lagrange equation. So our Lagrange equation has this term minus this term, so when we put together, so we will get this expression, right? We can multiply minus side on both sides, so this becomes plus, this also becomes plus, and this becomes negative, and its whole quantity will be 0. So we can multiply this denominator term in the numerator, so we will get this expression, right? It is very easy. And again we can collect this term here, 1 plus y prime square, so you will get this expression. Again you can simplify, this y square will cancels out and you will left with this term, right? So our expression is much more simplified now. It's already very simplified, and so you have to find the expression for this y. So next step you will do, you can put divide this term on this expression, so we will get this term, right? And we can multiply y prime in the numerator, so this becomes this, and we can write this whole expression like this, derivative ddx of this log of h minus y 1 plus y prime square is equal to 0, and we can verify this expression in the below. So when you get the derivative of this expression, you will see it becomes like this. This is the log function, so you will get the denominator of the whole function and the derivative of these two function. So we can again do the product rule and get the derivative, right? And when we separately put this denominator on both the term, you will get this expression, above expression. So the whole our expression now becomes equal to 0. So the derivative of any quantity is 0. It means that quantity itself is a constant. So we assign this quantity is equal to c, where c is a constant, or we can also get rid of this log by using e power c, right? And this is another constant, so we can put 2k, which is another constant, right? Now in the next page we write this expression again and get the value of y prime square or y prime, right? So which is equal to this. Now we use the method of substitution in the above expression, right? Because still we are not getting the expression of curve so far. So here if we use the substitution method, we can solve this differentiation, this derivative very easily. So let us choose h minus y is equal to k1 minus cos theta. When we put this new variable theta, where theta is the new variable, r, right? So when we put here, so you will get k1 plus cos theta, right, here, and here 1 minus k cos theta. So you can use the here cos theta function, right? You can this cancel out this 1 by using our cos theta function, right, which is equal to the 2 cos square theta, cos square theta by 2 minus 1, and here we use the sine form, right, which is equal to 1 minus 2 sine square theta by 2. So this 1 is cancelled on above and below, and you will left with this cos theta and sine theta by 2, and which is equal to the cot theta by 2. So now our expression is in a very simple form, has a very simple form, right? So we can write this dy is equal to cot theta 2 by 2 into dx, or you can write this dx is equal to tan theta 2 by dy. So now integrating both side, you will get dx is equal to tan theta by 2 into dy, and you can divide this d theta on both on numerator and denominator, because we can find this value, right? We can actually already define here this expression. No? We have defined that, write this y variable in terms of theta variable, so you can get the derivative of this y with respect to theta here, right? So which is equal to k sin theta minus k sin theta. If you get find the derivative of this term with respect to theta, you will get, right, sin minus k sin theta and d theta. And again you can simplify this expression. We can write here sin theta is equal to 2 sin theta by 2 into cos theta by d theta, and you can also write this tan theta by 2 is equal to sin theta by cos theta by 2. So again cos theta by 2 will cancel out on the above and below, and you are left with only sin square theta by 2. So this, in the next step we can write this sin square theta by 2 like this, and we can integrate. Now we can integrate this expression very easily, which is equal to theta minus sin theta plus c prime, where c is the integration constant, right? So here we can get the value of the c prime by using the initial condition. So let us choose when theta is equal to 0, x is 0, right? When theta is equal to 0, x is 0, right? So c prime comes out to be 0, right? So when we put this value here, we will get the value of x. So now we have the equation of x and y in terms of theta, right? Right. So this is called the parametric equation. So write this, right? So this is the equation of the cycloid. This is the cycloid, right? So this is the expression for cycloid. So here we have drawn the curve. So this is the one cycle of the cycloid, right? And this is the second cycle, right? So we start from theta is equal to 0. When theta is equal to 0, you can get x is equal to 0, right? When theta is equal to 0, this x is equal to 0. When theta is equal to pi, so this becomes k pi or minus k pi, right? And in that value, for that value of theta, this h minus y becomes 0, right? Because here I have used the property of the cycloid. This is the height. We have already defined this height in the first page. So this is the actually the circle. See, so this is the radius of the circle, which is 2k, right? This is the expression of our cycloid, and it says when we cover the half perimeter from half perimeter 2 pi this r, so this is right. So this becomes like this, right? So when you go from here to 2 pi, so this is the 2k here, right? I am using the property of the cycloid. So when you put here theta is equal to pi, this expression becomes 2k, and here y is equal to 2k. So sorry, h is equal to 2k, right? This h is equal to 2k, so you will get y is equal to 0, right? Yeah, you can put this 2k here. This 2k is equal to h. From the in the figure you can put 2k is equal to h. When you put h here, this will cancel down and y is equal to 0. So the path of the particle is from here to here, right? So this is the path taken by the particle which takes minimum times under the gravity, right? And this is the Basic-Chrome problem. If you have any question, you can ask me. right?